freeway and got back off the northbound side of the 110 freeway right at Vernon, where he crossed over to the west side of the freeway, and now he's made his way over towards the west, and now he is on, I believe that's going to be Vernon once again, and he is now turning westbound, again traveling at a very high rate of speed on surface streets. Just to give you guys a location, we're about half a mile south of the Coliseum, so half a mile south of the campus of USC, again traveling at a high rate of speed westbound.
Oh gosh, oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, just a very dangerous maneuver here as he kind of negotiates surface streets and intersections with pedestrians here, and it's just kind of bone-chilling to see some of the maneuvers that this guy is making here. I believe we have two suspects here, two armed burglary suspects here traveling northbound, and now we are going to be coming up on, that's going to be Exposition or MLK here. We're going to be coming up on that general vicinity here. We're just coming up on the Coliseum here and traveling again northbound, I believe on Vermont, and coming up on a little bit of slower traffic there, but this guy is basically trying to negotiate in and out of the traffic that he has on surface streets, and this is a very dangerous situation here, and I can tell you that from my vantage point up here at 1,200 feet, I don't see any additional ground units supporting this pursuit at this point. This guy is just traveling at a high rate of speed. He's traveling very erratically on surface streets northbound. And now he is back into a neighborhood. Now we are basically adjacent the Coliseum, just on the west side in a residential area here. And he is going to be turning westbound away from Vermont, again in this residential area, and again northbound. So this is a very tricky situation for ground units to negotiate. So in fact, as I was saying, I don't see any ground support, any CHP or any LAPD units on the ground chasing this guy as of yet. Right now, all we have is LA Sheriff's Department air support units, and it looks like he may be pulling over here. So guys, this may be a turning point in this pursuit. We got to follow this and see how these guys exit the vehicle. So far we have the driver.
Okay, we just saw one of the suspects
on a cell phone here
out of his car. He's talking on his cell phone. Okay, well, as we said, it looks like one of the suspects, the driver, there he is right there. He's talking on a cell phone, and he also is reaching into his pocket there. There's a good possibility, as we heard, these two are armed and dangerous, so he probably likely has a weapon with him as he's running around this apartment building in the South Los Angeles area now, looking to hide. And it looks like he may have just run into that little opening there where those trees are underneath those apartment buildings.
You're wondering if he knows someone within this apartment building, or, my goodness, if someone's just living there and their doors are open or the windows are open, he could jump in at any moment, which is very scary. And the person that was in the car with him, don't know where she is. We believe it's a female and a male. And there's some people, it looks like, in the courtyard there.
Okay, if you're just joining us for the KTLA 5 News at 1, Glenn Walker here with Jessica Holmes. What you're looking at is a live view of some apartment building in South Los Angeles.
I'm not sure. I haven't
seen pursuit suspects have been on the run since they allegedly pulled off a burglary in San Bernardino County. We're not exactly sure where that happened, but we've seen this these two in the car. It was a silver Lexus. They were up the 105 freeway when we picked this up. They then got on the Harbor Freeway, heading toward Los Angeles. Exited the freeway, headed up Broadway, zigzagging through streets, driving around the SC campus and around the LA Coliseum. We're getting reports that one of the suspects, who was a female suspect, she is still in the car, but the driver, the male driver, ran out of the vehicle, talking on his cell phone, wearing a white T-shirt and jeans, and now he is somewhere in that apartment complex you see right there. So I'm sure that officers are moving in here pretty quick.
So now authorities have to split their time and figure out who follows one and who follows the other. One's on foot, one is believed to be still in the car.
It's believed the woman may have taken off, and she has now run out of the car. But again, it looks like the male suspect is holed up somewhere in that apartment building you were looking at right there. The female suspect also on the run in the neighborhood, but probably in another direction. She actually sat in the car when he took off.
I'm watching some units.
And again, we're talking high rates of speed, not just on the freeway, but also surface streets around South Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, incredibly dangerous going through those neighborhoods. We had some really near misses a few times with people just crossing the street, and you can see CHP probably headed either to the location where the guy is at the apartment complex, or maybe on the trail of the female that was in the car.
Yeah, this is definitely, they look like they were in a desperate situation in speeds of excess of 100 miles an hour on the freeway, and even on the surface streets, they're going pretty fast. Almost hit several pedestrians, including a little girl when they were making a turn in an intersection. Her mom jerked her back on the sidewalk. just in the nick of time. And officers, we see these black and white units are now all headed toward the area. Again, the suspects going in different directions. The man taking off first, talking on a cell phone and reaching into a pocket where he possibly had a weapon. We did hear they were armed and dangerous after pulling off a burglary. And the female suspect sitting in the car for a couple of moments, and then she decided to finally take off and run. And now we see
that
there
appears to be the vehicle.
Back at the car. That is the vehicle. As you see, it's a light blue Lexus and a high-performance car that was, I'm telling you, I've seen cars flying down the freeway, but this guy was really booking it.
My goodness, yeah, passing everybody. And it all started as a burglary. Was it in the San Bernardino area, or that's where the couple originated from?
Somewhere in San Bernardino County is where the burglary was pulled off, and we understand now that the female suspect has now been apprehended. There you see her being arrested right there. She is the female suspect. There was also a male suspect, and again, he is holed up somewhere in that apartment building, and I think it's just going to be a matter of time as you see her now being hauled away, where she'll be put in the back of one of those black and white units.
Yeah, so I'm sure they were going to refocus and find where this guy is, and they know that he most likely is still in that apartment building. Whether or not they knew someone in this neighborhood, they turned right onto this small little street, and maybe it's someone they know is in the building, maybe not. No rhyme or reason possibly, but we do know we've got one suspect still on the loose at this moment.
Okay, we're getting some more information. They were suspects in a residential armed robbery. We assume that took place this morning, and they're also the suspects in several other armed robberies. So if the charges stick and this proves to be true, you're getting a couple of dangerous characters off the streets today, eventually. At least they've got one of them. Now they're just looking for the male suspect. Again, he's holed up inside that apartment building. You see the female suspect. She's now in the back seat of the sheriff's car with her hands handcuffed behind her. So she's taken care of. Now it's just a matter of time. And you figure he probably knew somebody in that apartment building the way he was talking on his cell phone. If not, you know, he may be running into some apartment building where you've got a lot of innocent people that don't know anything about this. And judging by the way he was driving, this is a desperate situation, and that certainly can create some problems.
It really can. And I know there was a moment where it seemed authorities were backing off because of the dangerous driving, but I don't think they were too far behind, because it seems they caught up pretty quickly with these suspects. But again, that's that debate that they, I'm sure, have whether or not to follow and pursue people when they're driving so dangerously.
Well, there you see the apartment building where we last saw the suspect running into. And, you know, I got to tell you, at this point, I don't really see any officers around there, which is kind of surprising. But then you see it's a pretty good sized complex. You know, judging how close this is to USC, this could very well be some student housing. Yeah,
it could. And I wonder if authorities have a helicopter in the sky, because a lot of times
Mark said there was a law enforcement helicopter from one of the agencies that was nearby, and they were watching closely. And we can't see a whole lot right now, but you can bet that what they probably are doing right now is they've cordoned off a wide area.
Yeah.
And what they will do is they will start what they call a grid search. They will go door to door, and they will check under every bush. It'll be slow and it'll be methodical, but eventually they will catch up with the suspect.
And the last we saw him were between those two trees there, right in the center of your screen, kind of ducked under there, and that was the last. Whether that was a hallway or someone's balcony, a little hard to tell, but that was the last place we saw the suspect.
And we see people walking, you know, on the sidewalk there, and it's almost as if they don't know what's going on. You know, we got some gentleman there talking to them through the gate.
Yeah.
Somebody pointed a direction like maybe he's over there. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. Again, the female suspect in this case, she has been apprehended. When the male suspect took off running, she sat in the car for a couple of more minutes, and then she finally decided to take off. Probably got about 2 or 3 blocks, and they apprehended her. She is under arrest, and now the search is on for her male accomplice. Let's bring Mark Kono back in. Mark, that was the last place we saw the suspect, the male suspect, but we don't see any police officers around there. What's going on?
Yeah, just an amazing, amazing set of circumstances here, Glenn and Jessica here. You saw it right here. The suspect, the driver of that Lexus, getting out of the vehicle. He was wearing blue jeans, a white T-shirt, on the phone. It looked like he had a bald head, and he was just kind of making his way westbound on the south side of this apartment complex, kind of along the grass there, and he just kind of disappeared right where those two trees are. Now, we don't have any confirmation that he is still there. While we were looking at the suspect there, the driver, the passenger, the female, jumped back into the car and went and took police further on a pursuit here. So she got about a mile away, several blocks, over towards the intersection of Western and a little bit south of here, where she was apprehended on our air just a couple of minutes ago. Now we have made our way back to the initial point of stoppage where the driver got out of the vehicle. Now, we don't have any ground units that we can see on the ground, correct, as you say there, Glenn. But again, this is where the pursuit terminated here initially. And up until just a couple of minutes ago, we did have an LA County Sheriff's ship overhead, and we don't see that anymore right now. He may be at the secondary location here, but this is the location. We're basically about a block west of Vermont and a block south of King, right near the campus of USC. We're about a block to the south and west of USC. And so, again, no ground units here. We don't know if they've, you know, in other words, given up on this search, or maybe they know who he is, or maybe they know who he is based on the apprehension of his partner, the girl, at the secondary location. But yeah, this is where we last saw him. Again, he was on the phone, kind of walking across the lawn westbound, and he disappeared right in front of that apartment complex, right near those two trees.
Okay. Guys? All right, Mark Kono in Sky 5 again. Police searching for this burglary suspect from San Bernardino County in South LA. He's ended. You're watching the KTLA 5 News at 1. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.